Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Red Bull Slurper here, and today I'm going to be showing you a video about which mods I use for Kotor 2, and I will do my best to explain why, because some of them don't really have a why, some of them are just there because I want them to be there, or like that mod in the game. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the video. Yes, I know it has been quite some time since I uploaded a video as well. Primarily uploading this video for a friend who would like to know what mods and why I use in Kotor 2 with my playthroughs on the PC version of the game. But anyone else who stumbles upon this video is free to watch. There will be a download link in the description below of the video containing all of the mods. Probably up on Dropbox. They're going to contain all the mods, and they're also going to be numbered in the order that you install them, and I will explain that later on. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Let me get some music going here. Here we go. Hopefully that's not too loud. Okay, so I've got my Kotor 2 mods loaded up here. I have one as well, but we'll get into that in another video if someone would like to know. So here we go. So I have maybe 24, 25 mods or so. I don't know if they're exactly numbered in order. 17, 19, yeah, so I deleted one. And this one I don't always install because it has very bad bugs until I fix that. So we got about maybe 23, 24 mods. So let's start with number one. Number one is Tsl RCM. This is the Sith Lord's Restored Content mod. Now what this mod does is this mod restores the content that was cut from the game, going from dialogue to fights to new loot, new characters, stuff like that. So it's a very, very awesome mod that restores all of the cut content from the game, besides the planet mod, which we will get to in a second. So this mod is definitely number one on my list, which is why it's marked as number one. Great mod, and it adds so much more gameplay. It probably adds another 3 hours or so of gameplay, including the other mod that I'm about to show you. So here we go. Now this gets to number two. This is called M478. This is a mod that goes along with Tsl RCM, which restores... I don't know why they didn't put it in Tsl RCM. Maybe they couldn't. But this restores another planet to the game. The planet is called M478. It's a droid planet, and it was cut from the game. And here's some spoilers, guys, so if you guys haven't played the game, then I would highly advise you not to listen to me right now. So this adds another planet to the game called M478. It is a droid planet where one of the Jedi that exiles you, Master Vash, travels to, instead of you finding her dead corpse on Korriban, which is pretty much how they cut it. So instead of you finding her dead corpse on Korriban, she escapes Korriban and heads over to M478, and then you guys get to travel there and play a whole nother planet, which probably adds a good hour and a half of gameplay. It's a very awesome planet. If you don't know what you're doing, the planet can get very confusing at times. You have to do a few puzzles and stuff. So if you get stuck at any given time, I would highly advise you to YouTube or Google what it is that you have to do, because some of the puzzles are pretty hard and they don't really give an explanation completely on how you're supposed to solve them. So I would definitely recommend YouTubing or Googling whatever puzzle it is that you're stuck on, because I think there's like 3 or 4 puzzles. So yeah, there are a few glitches with this mod. Like, for example, when you go to Korriban, the dialogue doesn't change. Like, you find Lona Vash there. You find her there in the cage and stuff. I don't think her actual body is there. I think it's just glitched. So yeah, you find her there, and the dialogue doesn't change. It's basically explaining that you found her there and stuff. And then when you click on the console that's straight in front of you that you have to do to unlock the doors on Korriban to escape, right before you fight Scion, it'll pick up from there, and the mod will start. So just ignore the dialogue there. Don't think that the mod didn't work or anything. It will work as long as you install it and don't have any other mods that are conflicting. There are quite a few mods that you cannot install with M478 and Tsl RCM. Out of the mods that I have, most of the mods are not on the compatibility list, which means that they would theoretically be incompatible, although I have beat the game countless times with all of these mods installed. There's a couple of glitches and bugs that I find every now and then, but usually nothing that a save/reload can't fix. So yeah, that's this mod. Moving on to the next one. Number 3, we have a Jedi Temple Mod. This mod I like to add into the game for some free loot, I guess you could say. It's not really overpowering loot, but it gives you some pretty decent loot that you could use on your companions, or you can sell for some credits real fast. So basically what it does is add Coruscant to the game, and you can travel to Coruscant and explore the Jedi Temple. The Jedi Temple is based off of the sub-level on Dantooine from the Enclaves, so it's nothing fancy, it's just retextured and stuff like that. Sometimes the mod breaks to where you can't access the storage room for the loot. I don't know why it does that. There's two storage rooms. There's one which is a normal one. There's another one which has some pretty decent gear. It's not overpowered, but... So yeah, sometimes it breaks and the terminal won't work to where you can't go upstairs and get the key card to access the storage room. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So that's a risk I'm willing to take because it's a decent mod. So moving on to number 4, we have Coruscant Jedi Temple compatibility. This is a must install if you're installing the Jedi Temple mod, because you have to install the M478 compatibility files. So basically you just copy these and drag them to your override folder to make it compatible with M478. Moving on to number 5, we have the Ultimate Saber mod. This mod is amazing. Now this is also not compatible with TSLRCM, but they have a compatibility patch released, and I have it all set up for you guys. So it's all set up with a new version 1.8.5 of TSLRCM and the new version of M478. So it's all set up for you guys. All you guys have to do is run the USM patcher. So what this mod does is it adds the ability to, when you train your companions, to have them build their own lightsaber for their class that they are. I think you can also choose the class that they become, but I can't remember for sure. It's been a while since I've fully used this mod. But it also gives all of the companions who are already Jedi their own custom lightsaber. So for example, when Kreia starts off in the beginning, she will have what is called Kreia's walking stick, which is her very own lightsaber in the game. So for example, when you train Atton will have his very own lightsaber that you will help him build, kind of like Bayodir helps you build yours, except they don't have to collect the parts. They magically have them already. So you get to build they get to build their own saber, and I think, once again, if I'm not mistaken, I think you get to pick what class they are, but I could be wrong. Okay, moving on to number 6. We have Badass Bastila and Bastila PC. These basically, I have two different ones here because sometimes I like to use the other one over the other one. But what it does is it basically adds playable Bastila as an NPC that you can pick in the beginning. So it's just a playable character, a playable Bastila. That's pretty much all it is. Let me see if there's any screenshots here. I don't think there is. There used to be, but I guess they don't have any. Let me check over here. Oh yeah, here's some screenshots right here. They should be in this folder here. Here we go. So here's with veins. Here's a screenshot with veins. So that's, you can see the purple veins right there. And then they also have they have it without veins, like that. This one I kind of use when I'm going on like the dark sidey look. The other one doesn't have any screenshots, I don't think. But the other one is kind of like a light side / dark side Bastila. It doesn't have any veins, nothing like that, but it has the transition. So if you're light side, you know, you get the light side skin tone and stuff like that. If you go dark side, then it starts to add in those veins and the dark face, dark looking face and stuff like that to kind of show you're on the dark side. You're a grumpy person. Moving on to number 7, that's number 8. We have high-level force powers. Now, what this does is, there's 2 of them here because this is the update for it, but what high-level force powers does is it adds force powers into the game which require you to be a high level, like 20 to 25, stuff like that. They add pretty decent force powers. Some of the force powers are OP. They're very, very OP to where it'll one-shot them and you can just go on about your day in the game. So I choose not to use those force powers, but I add them because it does add some very helpful ones that aren't overpowered. However, some of them are overpowered, and I found from experience. So it's up to you guys if you want to use the overpowered ones or not. I choose not to because I'm looking for a challenge when I play Kotor 2. I don't want to just breeze through the game. I want to, you know, die a couple of times or struggle on getting to... I just lost my train of thought. I want to struggle in playing the game where I'm on the verge of dying, or I do die, and it creates that challenge for me while I'm playing, you know. So that's this mod. There's also an update for it, which I'm not sure what the update is. I don't know if it adds any more. I always install them together. You install the mod first, then you install the update, which is version 2, update 1. Alright, moving on to the next one. We have 8, which is the Robes mod. This is the 90SK's Ultimate Robe Pack, which adds a bunch of new robes into the game. It also changes the appearance of robes, so there isn't much explanation for this mod. It just adds a bunch of new robes with some new stats and stuff. Nothing overpowered or anything like that, but you can get some pretty cool robes, and I just love the new look of it. The way that the robes look now compared to when they did in regular Kotor 2 is just phenomenal. This guy did an amazing job on this mod. Excuse me. So we're going to move on to number 9. We have the Tsl Hack Pad. Now, this is a mod that adds a bunch of commands where you're kind of like cheaty. You can spawn items in, you can spawn NPCs in to kill them, you can teleport, you can have a portable workbench, whatever. This is the Hack Pad. It has basically a bunch of cheats. Now, the reason I have this mod installed is because back when I played a while ago on Nar Shaddaa, sometimes the door would get stuck closed in where Mayra lives, and when you go to fight the Jedi, or even after you talk to him, the door wouldn't open. Right, the door wouldn't open no matter what. So I was like, well, fuck. So I found this mod, and this mod has a function called Force Open Door. So what it does is if you push that function, it force opens the nearest door. Hence me being able to leave the room, because the door wouldn't open because it's bugged. So that's what I use that mod for. I also have another one called Warp Band, which we'll get to in a little bit. So first we're going to jump into number 10 next. This is Basileus Robe. Don't worry about J card or Bachelor. That's for if you have the J card or Bachelor mod installed, which I do not. So we're only focusing on Basileus Robe. So Basileus Robe, what this does is it adds Basileus Robe into the game. When you go to Dantooine, you will find Basileus Robe there. Once you clear the sub-levels, the sub-level of the Enclave, and you get back around and you find Grevrick, you fight and kill Grevrick. Well, if you turn around after you fight and kill Grevrick, a footlocker will spawn. It won't be there before. It usually, for me anyways, spawns after I kill Grevrick. It'll spawn on one of the corners of the fountain in the middle. It'll be on one of the corners, and when you open that locker, you'll find Basileus Robe. Basileus Robe, it makes it look like you're wearing Basileus Robe from Kotor 1, which is pretty cool. It has a few decent stats. I think it gives you like +5 Wisdom or Charisma. It's one of those. I think it gives you like +3 Persuasion, and then there's a couple of other small stats. So it's not an overpowered robe, but it's a nice little robe to have. Moving on to number 11, I have a mod called Skip Paragus. What this does is it allows me to skip Paragus completely because I've played through the game too many times, to the point where I just don't like playing through Paragus anymore. Now, I know playing through a game is completely playing through a game, but I am just bored to death of Paragus. I know, you know, exactly what it is. I think it's just a waste of time, in my opinion. I've played through it too many times, so why play through it when I can skip through it and get all the items for it, and all the levels. So, what this mod does is it takes me to the end of Paragus. It teleports me to the Ebon Hawk. Sometimes the game freezes at the end when you skip it. All you gotta do is save the game, reload the game, and it'll unfreeze. Well, the game itself doesn't freeze, but you won't be able to move your characters. That's what I mean by freezes. So you just pause it, save, reload, and you're good. So yeah, it gives you the correct amount of experience that you'd get if you were to kill every single thing in Paragus. It gives you some items. It also gives you a lightsaber. Now, don't ask me why it gives you a lightsaber. I guess I thought the mod author thought it would be cool or funny to give you a lightsaber, because you can't actually find a lightsaber on Paragus, but the mod author gives you a lightsaber anyways, so you guys can choose to do what you wish with the lightsaber. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Okay, moving on to number 12. We have, I think this is another Force, yeah, Full Force Mod Pack 1. Okay. So, what this mod does is this mod adds, I think, like 6 more Force powers or something to the game. It goes along with the other one to where it just adds a few more Force powers, nothing overpowered. So, that's about it for this one. Moving on to number 13, we have the Warp Band. Now, this is similar to the Hack Pad. Sometimes the Hack Pad door function does not work, where it opens the nearest door. So this will allow me to teleport through the nearest door, so I can't open it. So in case that function doesn't work, then I have this one as a backup. Now, in the beginning of the game, it is bugged. When you kill, or when you level up in the very beginning on Progress, you get 10 of these. I don't know why you get 10 of them. I think the mod author accidentally added a 0 or something, because I'm pretty sure you're only supposed to get 1, but you get 10 of them anyway. So it's a credit farm or a component farm. You can choose what you want to do. You can sell the extras, or you can break them down to get some components / credits. So, okay, moving on to number 14, we have ZM fixes. Now, what this mod does is it fixes the movement animation for Kotor 1 and Kotor 2. So that's why I have it installed. Moving on to 15, we have a choose party mod. Now, this mod doesn't fully work because you have a fixed party here and you're supposed to drag these in to the override folder. However, you can't drag them into the override folder because it has to overwrite the other DLG files that are in there, and you can't overwrite those ones because then it'll break the game, because the rest of them are from TSL RCM and M478 and other mods that I have installed. So you cannot drag in fixed party, that will not work. However, you can drag in all of these, and what this mod does is at the end of the game in Mandalore 5, you can go and rescue your companions and have 2 of them help you out until you get to the Kreia fight. So it is pretty cool. You, however, cannot drag the fixed party over or it will break your game. So I repeat, do not drag over fixed party, just do all of these files. Do not do fixed party. Moving on to number 16, we have improved AI. Now, what this does is it improves the AI of the NPCs in the game. So it makes them harder, makes them stronger, makes them more of them use med packs and use certain force powers as well. Now, when you install this mod, you have the option to install it without the force power mod, which I do have installed. So when I install it, I choose with the force power mod because I have the force power mod installed. So it makes the Sith use those overpowered force powers and the new force powers that you added into the game, stuff like that. And other than that, it just makes them all around more difficult, and they use tons of items and stuff like that. So it gives me more of a challenge. So the next one we're moving on to 17 is the hardcore mod. The hardcore mod is similar to the improved AI one, but what this one does is it makes them have more vitality and it makes them hit harder. So I usually play on the moderate or hard. So if you read the README here, you can see what the difference is here. If you're around level 10, or if you are level 10, you can see they have 25 more vitality points if you use the easy one, 50 more if you use moderate, 100 more if you use hard, and 150 more if you use insane. And they have this many more chances to hit on insane, moderate, hard. I fucked up. I meant to say easy, not insane. Then they have bonus damage and stuff like that. So if you're on level 20, they increase, 30, they increase, so on and so forth. So that's pretty much what this mod does. Like I said, I usually use moderate or hard. Easy is too easy, and insane is way too hard for me. But it's what does give the challenge out there. So I might again try it. I might try it again one day. But I usually stick with moderate or hard. So that's it for that mod. Moving on to 19, we have the Exiles Robe. What this does is it adds in a robe to the game called the Exiles Robe, which is pretty much your robe when you got exiled. You can get it from talking to Darla on Dantooine, who sends you into the sublevels to get the dead bodies down there. So you can get it by talking to her. It's not an overpowered robe. It has a few stats. Nothing fancy. Moving on to number 20, we have TSL new loading screens. The new loading screens just change the default loading screens. That's it. It's pretty self-explanatory. The new ones look pretty cool, so that's why I use the MOG. 21, I don't always install it because it has tons of bugs, depending on what kind of playthrough I'm looking to do. But it's 90SK's mod, and it adds pretty much all of his mods together. So it adds a bunch of stuff to the game. It adds new drops, it adds new areas, stuff like that. New encounters, new triggers, all that kind of stuff. I don't always install it because there's tons of bugs with it, but I think there's only tons of bugs with it because I'm using it with TSL RCM. So that's why. So I don't always install it. I keep it there in case I don't use TSL RCM a playthrough and I want to use this, but that's up to you guys. 22, we have HK50, 51 reskin. This basically just reskins them. There is a bug with this mod, however, it makes the upper chest part of them transparent so you can see through them. But it's not super transparent, like crystal clear. You can see their reskin, but you can also see through it as if they were a ghost. So it's a little bug, nothing major, just a little minor one. It doesn't annoy me. Moving on to 23, we have, what's this one? oh, this is a new playable character, kind of like Bachelor PC. This is a male PC who adds, it replaces one of the playable NPCs in the beginning, so you can play as this guy instead. There's different versions. There's one where it has no score. Eyes of the Hunter is kind of like a more dark-sided look, and Eyes of Death is kind of a dark-sided look, but it's also a light-sided look. So yeah, that's what this is. It's called Wound in the Force. If you guys want to look it up, you guys can see some screenshots. They don't have any screenshots in here, but if you guys would like to look it up, it's called Wound in the Force. Moving on to 24, we have... Oh, this is actually my mod. So that's all the mods that I have. This is my mod, which I did upload, so I can... It's nothing fancy. What it has is Mayra the Jedi Watchman. That's what it's called. So it, in turn, turns Mayra into a Jedi Watchman. She is specialized in using blasters. She can use lightsabers because she is a Jedi Watchman, but she is specialized in using blasters. The feats that I gave her right off the bat are specialized for using blasters, not lightsabers. She also has a few decent force powers to start with. Nothing overpowered, but just a few. She's kind of like a support. So yeah, that's my mod. And then I do have another mod called Mandalore the Sith. Basically what this does is it turns Mandalore into the Sith Marauder. Because by default you can't train him, so I thought it would be kind of cool to see him using a lightsaber. And it's pretty good. He does some decent damage. However, the one thing that I overlooked was giving him certain force powers, because I forgot that you can't change his arm. Well, I didn't really forget. I just didn't think about it. I didn't think that because you couldn't change his armor, it would say that he is restricted to the force powers, but it does say that. So the certain force powers that I gave him, he is restricted to, and he can't use because of the armor. And since you can't change his armor, can't use those force powers. So I have to rework the mod, change out the force powers, and give him stuff that he can use with the armor that he is wearing. So this mod is still a work in progress. However, it's kind of working because he's a Jedi, or a Sith, but he can't use the certain force powers. So it's a work in progress. This one's not uploaded, but I do have my Mayra one. This one is done unless someone finds any bugs or I want to change something. This one is done. This one is uploaded on Deadly Stream, I do believe, so you can find it under the categories on there. And then lastly, we have a folder called Reinstall M478. You want to reinstall the mod M478, which is our second mod up here. You want to reinstall it is because one of the mods replaces the dialogue for T3M4. So when you leave Korriban to start the M478 quest, the data pad will tell you that you have to talk to T3M4 to see if you can discover the location of M478. Well, one of the mods that I have replaces that dialogue, so you cannot talk to him about M478 at all. So you're pretty much stuck in a game bug to where you cannot go to M478 and you can't find Master Vash. So in turn, to fix the bug, I found that if you reinstall M478, it does fix the bug issue. You can talk to T3M4 again, and then you will be able to find the location to M478, and you can continue about your game. So if you guys install all of these mods that I have listed here, and stuff like that, if you install them all in the same order that I have them in, you must reinstall M478. I'm not sure which mod here messes up M478. Like, if you're only installing the first two and you don't care for the other ones, then you can just install the first two and that's it. But if you install any other one, going from... Oh god, what did I do? There we go. If you install any other one going from 3 to 24, I will include my Mayra mod in here. I won't include my Mandalore the Sith mod because it's not done. I have to fix it. But I will include 3 to 24 in here. Then you definitely want to reinstall M478 because, as I said, I'm not sure which mod it is that messes up the dialogue. So if you install anything from 3 to 24, make sure you reinstall okay, I should actually say 3 to 23 because I know my mod doesn't mess it up. So if you install anything else other than the first two, just do reinstall M478 so that way you guys don't have a buggy game and you don't come back to my comment section yelling at me saying that it doesn't work. So if you guys install all these mods in the way that I explained them, I have them numbered here for you. 1, just go from 1 all the way down and stop whenever you want. You can skip whatever you don't want. Whatever, you guys can do whatever you want. Just please, please, please make sure that you reinstall M478 at the very end so that way you guys have a somewhat bug-free game to where you can still play it to the end. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like if you liked the video. If you guys have any issues or any other questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And that's it for the video, guys. So, I'll catch you guys next time. I might make a Kotor 1 mods video as well. I don't have too many mods for Kotor 1. Well, it goes all the way up to 27, but I deleted a lot of them. So, maybe I'll make another video about that some other time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next time.